If you've ever been told that the Enneagram is dangerous, evil, or something that pulls you away from God, then this video is for you. So I just watched a viral video saying all of that and more. And honestly, it made my blood boil. Because when someone spreads fear about a tool that they clearly don't understand, it doesn't protect people. It actively harms the ones who are sincerely searching for truth and growth. Now, let's be clear. Yes, the Enneagram does have occult roots, but that doesn't make it evil. Occult simply means hidden, and that's literally what the Enneagram shows us. It's a map, a mirror, and like any tool, it depends on how you use it. I mean, you could use a shovel to plant a tree or bury a body. Just saying. And I wasn't even planning on making this video, but at the end of her video, she signed off with, "Remember, the truth matters." And you know what? She's right. The truth does matter, which is exactly why I can't just sit by and say nothing. So today I'm going to show you what the Enneagram actually is, where it comes from, and how it can be used for real transformation without fear. If you're new here, hi and welcome. I'm Chris Rainwaters, renegade ritualist and your favorite real estate witch. I mix magic with science and share practical tools for real transformation. And in this video, we're unpacking the Enneagram, what it actually is, its roots and history, the many ways people use it, and how I use it in my ritual of light, and why fear-driven takes are not just misleading, they can do real harm. By the end, you'll know how to use the Enneagram as a tool for sovereignty, no matter what your spiritual background is. So pour some tea, spark a candle, settle in, and let's start unmasking the Enneagram to uncover what's really fueling all this fear. The Enneagram is, first and foremost, a symbol, a circle with 9 points around it, connected by a set of inner lines. Those lines form a triangle and a hexad, two shapes that show motion and relationship. That's it, just a shape. Basically, it's a language for pattern. People have used this symbol in many different ways, which we'll talk about later, but the version most people know is the Enneagram of Personality. So here's a quick shape tour. The circle holds the field. The 9 points mark repeating processes. The inner triangle represents 3 fundamental forces, and the hexad shows dynamic movement. People argue endlessly about philosophy here, but the point is simple. The Enneagram is a geometric symbol, a framework for seeing patterns of process. In my own work, I expand this into a double Enneagram spiral model, so 2 interwoven movements that mirror active and receptive forces happening at the same time. That's a deeper dive I use for ritual work and nervous system repair. If you want to explore that further, I break the whole system down in detail inside my Grimoire of Light, which is finally out, and I've linked it in the description. But for now, you don't need to start with my maps or anything to begin. Start with the basic symbol and learn the language of 9. We'll get into all of that later, but first, let's dive into the history of how this symbol even came to be and how it eventually got tied to personality in the first place. So, where did the Enneagram actually come from? The symbol itself, a circle with 9 points, the triangle and the hexad, surfaced in the early 20th century through the teachings of Gurdjieff. Now, he didn't present it as a personality tool. He used it as a symbol outlining universal laws, cycle processes, and transformation. We'll talk a little more about all of this in a minute, as this is one of the main ways that I use it. And as an aside, I do break it like all the way down in depth in my original masterclass, which is linked below. Okay, moving on. So decades later, Oscar Ichazo, a Bolivian philosopher and mystic, began connecting those 9 points to states of consciousness, ego fixations, and paths of growth. He's really the one who planted the seed of using the Enneagram for inner work. Then came Claudio Naranjo, who is a Chilean psychiatrist and one of Ichazo's students. Naranjo took Ichazo's work and combined it with psychology psychology, Gestalt therapy, and his own observations. This is where the Enneagram of Personality was born, the 9 types as most people know them today. From there, it spread. So teachers like Don Rizzo and Russ Hudson, Helen Palmer, Richard Rohr, and many others helped bring the Enneagram of Personality into mainstream spiritual and self-help spaces through books, workshops, and spiritual circles. The point is simple. Each generation added layers. What began as a geometric symbol became a psychological framework, a spiritual practice, and yes, even a pop culture tool. Some versions are shallow and some grow incredibly deep. Personality typing is just one expression of the Enneagram, not the only one. And let's pause here to clear something up. Yes, the Enneagram has esoteric and occult roots. That word occult, again, simply means hidden knowledge, hidden patterns, hidden truths. Again, that doesn't make it evil, it makes it a tool. And like any tool, the meaning comes from the hands of the one using it. Look, tools evolve, and that doesn't make them lies or evil or wrong. It just makes them more useful. So that's the brief history of how this symbol moved from esoteric teaching into personality typing and beyond. But history is only the surface. The real depth of the Enneagram comes when you start working with the language of 9, the 3 fundamental forces, and how the symbol actually models transformation. Now, I could literally spend hours unpacking this, and in fact, I do just that in my original masterclass, which again is linked below if you want to follow that rabbit hole all the way down. But right now, I'm just going to give you the essential framework so you can see how much more is at play than just personality typing. Let's talk about what I call the language of 9. The Enneagram has 9 points, and each one represents a repeating process, a step in the cycle of life, transformation, or creation. You can think of it like the 9 notes on a scale. Each note is distinct, but the real power is in how they move together. So here's the basic flow. 1 is intention. 2 is the tools or relationships that carry it. 3 is the first shock point. So this is where you meet resistance or shadow. 4 is where you face limitations and beliefs. 5 is the point of no return. This is the integrity of choice. 6 is another shock point, but here it's the gift that opens when you stay aligned because you are tested here. 7 is presentation. This is how the process shows up in form. 8 is retention. That's integration, the way things settle into your system. And 9 is neutral. This is the place of synthesis, rest, and the choice to begin again. 9 points, 9 repeating processes. Always in motion, which is what the circle is, time. Not static types, not fixed boxes, but living patterns. Now, underneath those 9 points are universal laws. So the law of 3, we've got active, receptive, and neutral. Also the 3 types of magic. It shows how creation requires 3 forces working together, not just 2 fighting it out. The 7 stages of transformation shows up in the inner hexad. So that's the way that energy moves through shock, adjustment, integration, and renewal. The circle around the whole thing, again, that represents time. So that's why the Enneagram, it's not just a personality test. It's a symbol of universal process. And it's why mystics, philosophers, psychologists, and now ritualists like me have found it endlessly useful. Again, if you want to walk this labyrinth with me all the way to the center, the 9 steps, the universal laws, the shock points, the different types of magic, and how it all maps to the body and spirit, and how you can use it to transform yourself and in turn your life, that's what I unpack in the original masterclass. And it's still linked in the description if you're ready to see how deep the Enneagram really goes. It hasn't magically disappeared or anything. Okay, that's the deeper structure. The 9 processes, the 3 forces, the law of transformation underneath it all. Now, this is where the modern personality Enneagram comes in, because once you understand that the 9 points are repeating processes, it makes sense that people notice repeating patterns in human behavior that mirrored those points. That's how the Enneagram of Personality was born, not as some cosmic BuzzFeed quiz, but as one particular application of an ancient pattern. So before we talk about the fear and misinformation swirling around it, let's take a look at what the personality Enneagram actually is. So let's talk about the version that most people know, the Enneagram of Personality. This layer of the Enneagram isn't about who you are, which is what the woman in the video I watched was telling people. It's about what you do. It maps your habits, the strategies you reach for when you feel unsafe, the way that your attention narrows under stress, and the gifts that open when you're regulated and grounded. It also accounts for movement. So each type connects to other points on the circle, showing where you tend to go under stress and where you lean when you're secure. It includes wings that flavor your core type, and it shows levels of health, the difference between expressing your patterns destructively or as strengths. But here's what often gets lost and what that video completely left out. Personalities are not fixed. They are fluid. They're changeable. Your type is not who you are. It's the mask that you're wearing right now, the strategies that helped you to survive. And like any mask, once you realize you're wearing it, you can just take it off. You can shift. You can grow. There's also psychology and philosophy underneath this map. Philosophically, it rests on the idea that we all build strategies to feel safe in a chaotic world. Those strategies become habits, and over time, habits start to look like personality. Psychologically, the Enneagram shows how those strategies shift under stress versus when you're grounded. It reveals how defenses kick in and how growth opens new capacities. That's why the lines on the symbol matter. They show movement. You're never stuck in one place. And here's a metaphor that I love. Personality, it's like clothing. It protects you. It communicates something, but it's not your skin, so you can change it. You can put on something new, but you'll never know that you're overdressed in armor until you see it for what it is. This is why it's dangerous to use personality as an excuse. This is just who I am. I'm just a type 7 or whatever. It's not truth. That's stagnation. The Enneagram doesn't trap you in a type. It shows you the costume that you're wearing so you can decide whether to keep it on or try on something new. And here's where I'll clear up another misconception. The word sin literally means missing the mark. A tool that shows you where you miss is not evil, it's mercy. A map like this doesn't pull you away from God, it points you back toward alignment. So if someone says that awareness of your own patterns is dangerous or evil, I would ask, who benefits from you staying blind? So this is where I have to call something out, the fear rhetoric. Anyone telling you that the Enneagram is evil or dangerous or that it will pull you away from God is not protecting you. They're actively harming you. They're weaponizing fear to keep you small. Because here's the truth. When you tell someone that a mirror is evil, you're not saving them, you're blinding them. You're cutting them off from self-awareness, the very thing that leads to freedom. This is spiritual bypassing at its worst. This woman said, you're either in Adam or Christ, so sinner or saved, trapped or free, but life is not that black and white. We are both human and divine. We fall short and we rise. We wrestle and we grow. To demand that people pick one side of the line is to erase the reality of being alive. And all it does is create even more suffering. So here's the truth about fear. It doesn't liberate you, it locks you up. Fear-based teaching says, don't ask questions, don't explore, don't look too closely or you'll be lost. But God is not afraid of questions. Truth does not need fear to defend it. So when I see someone dismiss a tool like the Enneagram by calling it evil, and it's clearly not because they understand it or how personalities work, but because they so obviously fear it, I get angry and a little sad. Not for me, because personally I could care less about this woman's messed up opinions, but for the seekers who hear that message and think that their curiosity is dangerous. For the ones who could have found healing or real insight, but instead are told to stay in the dark. So here's my take. Awareness is not the enemy of faith. It's the ground that it grows from. To know yourself is to step closer to God, not further away. Jesus said it, know thyself. The Enneagram at its best is just one path of awareness, and shutting people off from that path in the name of protection does real harm. So by now you might be wondering, how do you actually work with the Enneagram practically in daily life? So let's talk about some ways that it can genuinely help. First, self-study. Use it to track where your attention goes when you're triggered. Awareness is the first step to shifting patterns. Second, relationship repair. When you start to understand what you or your partner's nervous system is trying to protect, conflict stops being a fight and starts being compassion. Third, teams. Whether it's work or community, the Enneagram can help put people where their gifts shine instead of where pressure breaks them. Fourth, spiritual direction. It highlights the patterns that block love and gives you a way to practice opening again. And fifth, ritual and somatics. This is where I live. Pairing insight with breath, prayer, movement, and micro choices, so the work doesn't just stay in your head, it actually lives in your body. But here's the warning. Don't let the label become your identity. The Enneagram is descriptive, not determinative. The moment you start saying, I am my type, you've missed the point entirely. You are not the type, you are the awareness that chooses. If you want more on the Enneagram and its uses, I've linked all 3 of my free masterclasses below. The OG masterclass breaks down the Enneagram for transformation in detail. The condensed version cuts through all the spiritual fluff and gets down to the nitty-gritty in less than half of the time. And the third, that one shows how the Enneagram can be twisted for harm, how it's used in mass movements, and even against you, and what you can do to spot it. Now, I want to address a couple of other disturbing things that she said in that video. Things that we haven't covered yet, but that absolutely need to be called out. So the first was this claim: what starts in darkness cannot be holy. Let's be clear. Creation itself began in darkness. Every seed germinates in dark soil. Every human being, including Jesus, formed in the darkness of a womb. Darkness is not evil. It's the sacred container where life takes form. Light reveals. Darkness just states. You need both. To deny that is to deny the reality of creation itself. And the second is that you can only find your identity through Christ. So on the surface, that might sound fine, but here's the danger. When it's used to dismiss every other tool for self-awareness, it becomes control. Identity is not something handed to you by another person's interpretation of God. You are already made in the image of God. So that means identity is both human and divine. Your path is integration, not erasure. So here's the real issue. Flattening complexity into fear-based slogans doesn't liberate anyone. It breeds obedience, not truth. And if truth really matters, stop flattening paradox just to make people compliant. I want to close this out by showing you how I personally work with the Enneagram. For me, it happens at 2 levels: insight and embodiment. The Enneagram gives the insight. It shows you the patterns, the strategies, and the masks. But insight alone isn't enough. You need a way to bring that awareness into your body, your breath, and your daily choices. That's where the ritual of light comes in. It's a simple 20-minute daily practice that weaves together breath, attention, prayer, movement, intention, and release. It rebuilds your capacity to hold energy without flipping into panic or shutdown. This is the practice that healed my nervous system, brought me back into alignment, and helped me reclaim my life. And it's the bridge between knowing your patterns and actually transforming them. So here's where we land. That video I watched ended with the words, "Truth matters." And you know what? She's absolutely right. Truth does matter, but truth is not fear. Truth is not control. Truth is what sets you free. And if you're wondering how to tell if a practice is worth your time, the test is simple. Does it grow your love for God, yourself, and others? Does it increase honesty and responsibility? Does it reduce fear and control over time? And does it make you kinder and clearer, not grander or smaller? If a teacher uses fear to keep you dependent, walk away. If a tool helps you see clearly and choose better, keep it. And if this video helped you, give it a like, hit subscribe, and watch any of the free masterclasses. You can also experience my guided journey, Buried Strength, for free. And if you're ready for the full container, the 44-day Ritual of Light is open. It's an Enneagram on top of an Enneagram on top of another Enneagram with a double Enneagram. All the links are right below this video. Truth matters. And the truth is, you're not trapped, you're not broken, and you are always free to choose. You don't need to be afraid of a map, a shape, or a symbol. You need courage to look and practice to walk. Truth matters, yes. Paradox matters too. We are human and divine. Let's grow up and live like it. So thanks for watching. I'm Chris. I'll see you in the next one.